My agency, it's about to hit $2.5 million this year in revenue, and next year we're going to be doubling that to over 5 million. But 2 years ago, I was working over 80 hours a week as a glorified freelancer who thought he was running an actual business. But I constantly had to put out fires. I was losing clients because of stupid, ridiculous mistakes that could have easily been avoided, but something changed. What changed? It was 6 systems that helped me grow my business from a chaotic mess into a predictable revenue machine. Today, I have over 20 full-time employees across my businesses. We work with over 30 clients at my agency. Some have paid us well over $100,000. We've more than doubled our revenue year after year. The reason I've been able to accomplish this much is that I've switched my mindset and went from building a job to a real, actual business. But this happened after I read that over 80% of agencies never break 7 figures, and that 90% of agency owners work more hours than their employees, and that the average agency fails within 18 months. I started to dig in deeper to understand why this happens, and I started seeing a pattern of missing systems. If you want to implement what I'm about to show you, you'll join the 3% of agencies that actually scale past 7 figures while giving you your freedom back. So lots of agency owners think scaling means working harder. I used to believe that too. I wake up at 5 a.m., work until midnight, personally handling every client call, strategizing every piece of content, putting out every fire. I was the bottleneck in my own business. While I was thinking about a way to actually fix this, I was picking up something to eat from McDonald's, and that's when I realized that McDonald's serves over 70 million customers per day across 40,000 freaking locations. And it doesn't matter if you go to a McDonald's in Toronto or Tokyo, you will always get the same freaking experience. It's all thanks to their systems. So every business owner's goal is to identify the right systems that help them consistently hit their revenue targets and retain clients in the long term. Let's get into the systems you need to build a 7-figure marketing agency as smooth as the McDonald's experience. The first system is high value offer architecture. Your offer is the foundation of everything. Without a premium offer, you will always be competing on price. You're gonna work way longer for less money and attract clients who don't value what you do. One of the biggest mistakes that I see agency owners make is they compete on price and they end up packaging themselves like complete commodities. I thought the way to win with more clients was to be the cheapest option out there, but that's how I ended up competing with teenagers on Fiverr. I started saying, we'll make you 30 posts for $3,000 a month. This isn't an offer. I learned this by studying my highest paying clients. We started charging between $5,000 and $8,000 a month, and clients were happily able to pay when we started selling them outcomes with predictable deliverables. Instead of saying we'll create content for you, we say we'll build your personal brand into the go-to authority in your niche. So when people think about your expertise, you're the first name that comes to mind. Do you see the difference? One is all about what we do, the other is the outcome that happens to them. This shift in positioning allowed us to directly increase client retention because we were solving real business problems with predictable deliverables. But to charge high ticket prices, it requires your offer architect to have 5 core components. Number 1 is the outcome. What transformations are you promising? For us, it's to become the go-to authority in your niche. That's what people are buying. We're not trying to sell them on the number of content pieces we're making. We're showing them the outcome. Number 2 is the positioning. What makes you different? Our position is we build micro authorities. We're not trying to get you to post platitudes and motivational posts to go viral. We're focused on building trust and credibility with decision makers. Number 3 is deliverables. What are you exactly doing to create that outcome? For us, we have a detailed content strategy. We deliver visual content, written content, post, and we optimize it. Those are the 5 things that we do to help them reach the specific outcome so they get to visualize exactly what is a part of our offer and what they're gonna get out of it. Number 4 is the pricing structure. This is where agencies mess up. You have 3 options here. You can do a fixed monthly retainer. That's a set monthly fee. You could do performance-based, which is a percentage of the generated results, and then there's a hybrid model, mix of retainer and performance mixed together. The highest paying one is the hybrid model, where you can have $5,500 coming in retainer plus 8% performance bonus when the client generates a specific outcome that you promised them. Now you're making more money from one client than you would from 5. Number 5 is risk removal. What's your guarantee? You can't just promise results. You need You need to prove to them that they can deliver it without any sort of friction from their side. So agencies fail because they try to charge these premium prices with a commoditized service with terrible positioning. You can't just charge $8,000 a month if you're the same social media management offer that all of your competitors have. If you have something that makes you stand out, like a guarantee, people are going to choose you over the other people in the space. System number 2 is the authority-based client acquisition system. So client acquisition determines your growth rate and your profit margins. Cold outreach is very time consuming. I really like to focus on personal branding, where we have authoritative content which flips the process of you seeking out clients and getting them to come directly to you. This reduces your costs per acquisition to nearly zero and attracts higher quality clients who value expertise over price. I haven't sent a cold email in years. My last cold outreach campaign was years ago, and I never want to go back to that soul-crushing process. I don't want to beg people to hire me. Now, the majority of our leads come through referrals or through my personal brand. People see my content, they start building trust and book calls directly with me. But building a personal brand doesn't come from posting motivational quotes or hoping that people buy from you through those content pieces. That's what 99% of the other business owners are doing, and it's what they're doing wrong. Trust takes time to build, and the average buyer needs 7 touch points before making a decision to hire you. That's why I developed something called the 33-33-33 content strategy rule. 33% of your content is authoritative content, showing off your big results, your case studies, proof that you know what you're talking about. This gets people to follow you initially. They see that you're just not another wannabe within the industry. The next 33% is the technical content. These are strategy breakdowns, frameworks, how-to tutorials, teaching people how to think about solutions for their problems. This nurtures followers and it demonstrates your expertise. It shows that you have an understanding of the mechanics of what you're talking about, like the algorithm, deal flow, and authoritative content. And the final 33% is a story-based content for personal journey, your failures, your lessons. It gets people to connect with you on a human level and trust you. This is especially important since people buy from people that they relate to. Agency owners who only post technical content like the 5 strategies to grow your LinkedIn or the 6 strategies for blah, blah, blah are boring and predictable because everybody does that. You need all 3 categories to build a real following that converts. I've helped hundreds of business owners build their personal brands using this strategy. For example, Brandon Ham grew to 4,500 followers and closed 6 figures in new revenue within 8 months. Then there's Jordan Ross, who scaled from 11,000 followers to 30,000 followers and closed over $250,000 in 6 months, and at this point over $1 billion. The thing with personal brands is that they compound over time. Every piece of content shows up on people's feeds, gets people engaged with, gets people to follow you and connect with you on a personal level. Every post is a potential lead generator. Every story builds more trust. It's like having a sales team that never sleeps. And the best part is that once your personal brand is established, every other acquisition method becomes easier. Cold outreach becomes more persuasive and potent because people already know who you are. Your paid ads are going to start bringing in more leads because you have more social proof. Referrals are more common since clients can trust you enough to stake their reputation on you. Now, let's get into system number 3, the sales process that closes. Your sales process is a revenue multiplier. The difference between a 30% close rate and an 80% close rate makes a difference between scrambling for clients every month and having an actual wait list. But for this to happen, you need a systematic sales process. And I'm going to walk you through my entire process to avoid headaches and ridiculous unqualified clients. My sales close rate is north of 80%, and it's not because I'm gifted at sales. There are plenty of agency owners who are way better at sales than I am. All I've done is I've systemized my process. Agency owners wing their sales calls. They hop on and say, so what are you looking for, and hope for the best. But to me, that feels like gambling. If I know someone is qualified, if I know someone is ready to buy from me, I will make sure that I can close them through my entire system, and we'll walk you through it right now. So my entire sales process end to end actually starts on the qualification process when someone books a call with me. So we have a simple form on Calendly. Someone comes in and they have to answer multiple questions. One of those questions being, are you willing to invest $5,000 to $7,000 a month for the next 90 days? If they say no, I don't even bother doing that sales call. The next questions are all about, are they actually interested in building their personal brand? I'm trying to see if they're actual good possible clients for us. And then I also ask them about their goals so I know what they're trying to reach 6 months to 12 months from now. If they are actually qualified, I will jump in the call with those individuals, which means I'm not looking for 150, 250 different leads on a monthly basis. I'm looking for about 5 to 7 high quality, exceptional individuals ready to pay for my service. Now, once I know they're qualified, I will send them an invite to the actual call, and I will send them 3 follow-ups to remind them of the call. One is going to be the moment that they booked the call, one is going to be 24 hours before, and the last one is going to be 1 hour before. This is going to guarantee that they're going to show up to the actual call, and it's a quick reminder. If I do see that they're on social media, I will also DM them directly there. From there, my entire objective on that sales call is to close them in 15 minutes. No discovery call, none of that BS. All I care for at this point is how can I get their money on that call because they are qualified. So I start the call off by smiling, laughing, and starting off with some sort of joke or a way to connect with them on a personal level. Then I go ahead and set the frame and the tone for the call. I say on this call, we're going to be going through a few main points. The first point is going to be me learning more about your offer, your story, your services. Then from there, I'm going to understand your pains, why you're trying to build a personal brand. And then from there, I'll walk you through the entire offer. They say, yes, that all makes sense. Now, my entire objective is to walk them through the questionnaire. I start off by asking, why did you book your call today? They let me know. I asked them, why are you trying to build your personal brand? They let me know. I asked them, can you break down your offer? Can you break down your service? And can you break down some of your case studies? They break that all down. Then I asked them, what's holding them back from building their personal brand? I identify those pains and I start solving those pain points while also name dropping some of my clients to build some more authority of people who actually had very similar problems to them. Once we go through all of that, I ask them, do you have any questions for me before I walk you through the offer? If they do, I handle any sort of objections early on, and then I walk them through the offer. I show them the entire journey of what it's going to be like to actually work with us and manage their expectations. Then before I go ahead and show them the pricing point, I ask them one more time, do you have any questions for me before I walk you through the investment? If they say yes, I'll handle those. If they say no, I say my pricing and I shut up. I wait for them to communicate first. If they communicate, they say yes, they say no. Majority of the times they will say yes, and then we go ahead and continue over with the entire onboarding process from that point. Sales is a very important system. This is the framework that works best for us with personal brands that you can just copy and paste. System number 4 is the client onboarding machine. Onboarding determines your client's lifetime value and churn rate very early on. A poor onboarding experience is going to create real buyer's remorse. You know, when you buy something and you regret it a few hours later, you want to avoid that feeling with your clients by having a systematic onboarding process that turns these new clients into loyal fans for your service before the real work even starts. It's kind of like an insurance policy against churn and your foundation for real long-term relationships. So 23% of clients who churn do so during the first few weeks, and the majority of those decisions are made in the first 48 hours after signing up. When a client pays you, they use the first 48 hours to determine whether they'll stay for 6 months, 6 years, or 6 days. Now, the problem is agencies send a generic welcome email and hope for the best, while we've systemized every single touch point. The moment someone books a call with me after they purchase, our system automatically kicks in. Number 1, they get an immediate response system. We have a Slack channel called New Client Interview, where we have a booking page where we learn every single thing about the client from a form that they fill out. We automatically collect their LinkedIn, their profile information, their Twitter, their website, the 3 accounts that they admire, and any other valuable information that we can use from them, including branding guidelines. Number 2 is the post-sale activation. Now, after this step, they're going to go ahead and book a call with us directly, and we're going to do a beautiful interview. I do this myself. I also bring on my COO if it's necessary, and I make sure that they feel heard and understood, and we interview them for an hour long. On that call, we also explain the roadmap of what they're going to be expecting throughout this next 2-week period during this very important onboarding stage. I walk them through the expectations of things that they're going to be involved with, and then where we're going to be handling the rest, so they can go ahead and manage everything accordingly. We go ahead and book our call with them for the next call for the next week on that same call as well, so everything's already scheduled and within their calendar. Right after that call, we add them inside of a Slack channel. Inside of that Slack, we walk them through the roadmap again. I want them to feel as involved as possible, understand exactly what problems we're going to be solving and the direction we're going to be moving in with the strategy. While they're waiting for our content, we then present to them all of the different ways that we can optimize their profile. So they're not just sitting there scratching their head thinking what the hell's happening next. We walk them through exactly what changes we can make to their Twitter account, to their LinkedIn, to their newsletter, and we actually help them implement those changes. Then from there, we walk them through the actual next day where we're going to present the content to them. We organize that day with them, we book that call in, and we walk them through their entire content strategy. We show them what direction we're taking the strategy in, we show the first content batch, and we tell them that their feedback is super important during the stage, and we manage their expectation. When they go ahead and give us all that feedback, we're also going to be requesting their accesses for their social media accounts, and then we can go ahead and start scheduling. They are very involved in this journey, but not to a point where they have to do hours of work on a daily basis. They're involved for about 5-7 minutes a day, so they're kept inside the loop so they don't feel any sort of regret during the onboarding process. Your onboarding is extremely important. It is where your internal team is going to be understanding every detail about that client, and then the actual client is understanding what's happening in the internal team without overwhelming that client. That's your onboarding system. Now, system 5 is the delivery system. Delivery determines everything for your reputation. Your retention, your rates, your referrals, your ability to charge premium prices are all based off of this. So results are very commoditized, which means anyone can realistically get them. What separates seven-figure agencies from struggling ones is the experience they provide. This system makes sure that you deliver excellence, even as you scale, so that your clients become advocates who refer others to you for years. The main reason agencies lose clients is because of bad experiences. I learned this the hard way in 2019. I had a client that was paying us $20,000 a month for over 7 months. We helped them hit every KPI, we solved every problem that they specifically had, and they became extremely profitable working with us. But after a few months of minimal communication from our end, they fired us. Why? Because we weren't communicating our value. They thought what we were doing was easy, and it's because we weren't showing them the work behind the actual results. They had no reason to believe otherwise, but the lesson cost me 6 figures in annual recurring revenue and taught me that client experience matters more than client results at times. To avoid this fate, I now have a few systems in place. System number 1, I call it 5.1, the client management system. Every client has a comprehensive digital hub containing all their assets, their KPI goals and initial strategy, all the optimization notes, and a feedback history. This becomes institutional knowledge that every team member can reference whenever they're creating content for the client. For us, this is where we create the client brain, where we're constantly updating what works, what doesn't work, and detailed notes about their voices and audience. The next system is internal tracking. This one's for tracking your team's output. If your average designer creates 30 pieces a month and someone only produces 14, then we ask what's causing the delay in holding them back. Then do the same thing with writing, strategy development, and any other part that you may have within your actual deliverables. This data helps you identify the capacity issues, spot potential bottlenecks, and recognize top performers and make informed hiring decisions. Most agency owners only track client metrics, but if you want to catch real problems before they actually affect your clients, then you should also be tracking your internal efficiency metrics. The next system is quality control. Build quality into your process. Don't expect it afterwards and run around like a chicken with your head cut off. What this means is that every role needs a specific checklist and end-of-day report for all your main systems. Whether if it's content creation, client communications, or strategy development, nothing should get delivered without going through quality checkpoints. For this, you need to invest heavily in training. We spend 90+ days training each strategist before they handle a single client independently, and we prioritize growing people internally so they understand our systems and culture already. This is way more valuable than hiring somebody externally and retraining them. The next system is communication systems, which we already kind of touched on, but I want to go a little bit more in depth. Communication should be systematic. This means that clients should always be aware and know what you're working on. That means what's being tested, what's performing well, what's not performing, what our next hypotheses are. We pride ourselves on responding within 20-30 minutes, even if it's on weekends. Now, it's not because I'm running some kind of dictatorship. It's actually because every person on my team that is client-facing is just as obsessed with our vision as we are. We notice small things, like if a client asks for an update before we give it, we consider it a punch to the face. You guys should be over-communicating at every single stage of the funnel proactively. So we set up internal reporting, regular check-ins, and transparency with the dashboards. System 5.5 is growth management. When a client requests something outside of your scope, you can quickly evaluate whether it actually adds value. If it does, you deliver it excellently and potentially add it to your services as a new offer on a higher tier package. This is how we evolve our services based on real actual market demand. It's also how we added content scheduling to our packages. There's small little details where a client would request. We noticed 3-4 of those clients are requesting the same thing. We decided, hey, why not just implement it for all our clients? This subtle system over here is how you guys are going to add more revenue into your guys' actual businesses. You want to take as much work as possible off of your client's plate, and you want to improve their experience with you. If you're making mistakes, ignoring feedback, missing deadlines, then it's no surprise that a client will leave you. And as you build these delivery systems, think like your buyer evaluating your business. They will be obsessed. Document everything and create processes that will really work without you. We have a master database with every department, with every system, with every SOP, per role, and every checklist. If we hired someone today, they could step into any role and become competent quickly because everything is documented for them. We've even developed proprietary softwares so we can see everything happening on any client's accounts in real time. It's constantly learning and identifying winning content ideas based on their performance data and competitor performance data. System 6 is predictable revenue. When you can forecast revenue 90 days out, you can invest in growth, hire confidently, and make strategic decisions. Without the system, you're gambling every freaking month, living paycheck to paycheck. You don't want to be constantly stressed about where the next client's coming from, and this system gives you the foundation to scale systematically. See, lots of agency owners end up falling into a cycle of a month-to-month gambler. They have no idea what next month's revenue is going to look like. They see one good month and they multiply it by 12, but that sounds less like a business and more like a slot machine. You have to have an ERP and spreadsheets tracking everything with precision. The main ones being revenue forecasting systems. You want to know your cost per client with fixed and variable costs. You want to know the cost per pod, how many clients per team with your retention rates and the profit. You want to understand your cash collection cycles. So when a client pays versus when you pay the team, the different payment structures for the different roles and the performance levels. Then from there, you want to also manage your cash flow. You need to have a dashboard on an ERP showing exactly how much cash is available, how much you're willing to actually invest into this upcoming 30 to 90 days to reach your next specific goal targets, and the forecast calculator to show cost per client for the month and next month and 3 months out. I literally have roles labeled new client, new client, new client. So I know exactly how many clients I want to join us at specific price points until I reach a specific profit. We optimize for profit over revenue. I'd rather make $200,000 profit on $800,000 revenue than $150,000 profit off $1.2 million in revenue. Profit pays for freedom, while revenue is just an ego metric, and nobody ever got fed over their ego. The next one is revenue per offer tracking. We have a done with you offer, a done for you offer, a newsletter service. Each is tracked separately with monthly costs and their revenue and forecasted growth. This helps us identify which offerings are profitable and where to focus expansion efforts on. The fourth one is ERP integration. This one's a new integration, but it categorizes every expense, softwares, contractors, one-time costs, team, entertainment, based off of any specific category, and this way I can see the spending patterns month over month on any specific software. The fifth one here is a systematic client expansion. Your client growth is built into our sales process. I plant seeds early on, mentioned our newsletter package, but recommend they start with content first, and now after 90 days, I'm able to upsell them on the actual next offer. I then calculate what that actual take rate is, and I can go ahead and evaluate based on the data how many clients will be able to join that offer in the next 6 to 8 months. When you plant those seeds early and deliver those exceptional results, it's super easy. It doesn't feel pushy. They're expecting it on their actual next sales cycle with us. They're getting real value for our main service, and they want to join the next one. And the next one is the referral revenue system. 70% of our leads come from referrals now, but that only happens with exceptional retention. In the past 2 years, we've only had one client cancel that was in the 8-figure range, and that was because he was exiting his business into an entirely different industry. When clients stay for over a year and talk highly about your service, referrals naturally happen. And we systemize this by creating an exceptional referral incentive program and treat referred clients exceptionally well too. Our average client lifetime value right now has been doubling year over year and improving through our strategic upsells. This is the type of predictability that changes everything when you're trying to actually exit your business. These 6 systems are the backbone of my agency, but systems are only as effective as the people implementing them. You can't just copy these frameworks and expect automatic results. You need to understand the principles and adapt them to your agency specifically. The agencies that break 7 figures are working systematically. They document everything, every single process, every SOP, every team member's role, every KPI. If you want to see these types of SOPs and frameworks and systems, everything is documented inside the Utopia. The personal branding systems, all of my sales processes, all my delivery frameworks, everything just in the link below for 49 bucks a month. Just click the link in the description and you can check it out. But that's all that I have for today, ladies and gents. If you guys want to talk more about agency scaling, this is a newer topic for my channel, but I would love to show you guys more behind the scenes. Just comment down below if you're interested, and I'll see you guys in the next video.